The USS Enterprise sailed through history as the most decorated American warship of the jet era. This floating fortress changed naval warfare, but how did one vessel wield such strategic firepower? After decades of service, now we can disclose the state-of-the-art weapon systems integrated onto this supercarrier to shape victory in conflicts worldwide. Buckle up as we reveal technology and capabilities once shrouded under Navy secrecy that defined the Enterprise's global reach. When the USS Enterprise was launched in 1960, it revolutionized aviation capability on the seas by harnessing the power of the atom. What fueled this unprecedented aircraft carrier to sprint at over 30 knots when other warships required frequent refueling? The answer lies in the Enterprise's 8 nuclear fission reactors, gifting it virtually unlimited range constrained only by the crew and aircraft maintenance requirements. Whereas conventional carriers had to carefully manage their speed to conserve fuel oil, the Enterprise could reposition anywhere within 2/3 of the globe in just 10 days, while operating combat aircraft around the clock. By removing limitations on reach and endurance, the Enterprise's nuclear propulsion made it a highly mobile and responsive floating base, greatly expanding the U.S. Navy's power projection capabilities through the early jet age. But raw mobility alone does not win battles. What gave the Enterprise unmatched tactical strike? Firepower in its time. The key lies in its carrier air wing, with offensive striking power rivaling some entire nation's air forces. During intense, sustained air operations over Vietnam, the Enterprise embarked up to 90 aircraft distributed across a dozen squadrons at a time. This air wing contained capabilities ranging from heavy tankers, cargo carriers, and early warning radar jets through electronic warfare planes to a diversity of strike bomber, air superiority fighter, and reconnaissance platforms. Such variation in aircraft on board allowed innovative combined arms attacks to overwhelm robust defenses from every angle. Swarms of fighter jets and attack bombers would saturate enemy radar defenses by coordinating with jamming planes that crippled sensors, allowing strike packages to penetrate deep behind the lines. Once inland, bomber and reconnaissance elements could prosecute targets hundreds of miles away from the carrier's position with precision, fed targeting data from the Enterprise's vast intelligence and sensor fusion assets. The virtuosity of the Enterprise air wing to execute complex missile attacks and strike missions had no parallel, with hundreds of sorties per day coordinated across flat tops at the peak of operations over Vietnam. This ballet of warfare saw aircraft dance beyond visual range of the deck, directed by Commander Air Wing onboard the Enterprise through extensive early warning, radar guidance, and rapid data link communication with jets. The seamless integration of assets across vast ocean battle spaces multiplied the effectiveness of naval air power exponentially. And the Enterprise continued to expand its capabilities over succeeding decades through integrating revolutionary new air wing platforms. The development of the long-range Mach 2 capable F-14 Tomcat air superiority fighter armed with the advanced Phoenix missile gave the battle group beyond visual range interception ability comparable to land-based defenses. Later editions of dedicated maritime patrol jets like the distinctive S-3 Viking reflected adaptations increasing standoff anti-submarine capacity against a growing undersea threat as submarine technology matured. But the crowning upgrade for the Enterprise fighter wings came in the 1980s with the game-changing multi-role FA-18 Hornet. Though more compact than earlier jets, the Hornet employed advanced radar and sensors, longer-range precision-guided munitions, high maneuverability and reliability improvements that increased the accuracy, flexibility, and sortie generation rate of the carrier exponentially. These formidable capabilities were multiplied by networking improvements that connected every Hornet into an integrated information grid, amplifying situational awareness and coordination. The FA-18 marked the maturity of naval aviation into a force multiplier competitive with the airstrike capacities of many sovereign states, underscoring the strategic impact a sole aircraft carrier could exert across theaters. This ballet of warfare dancing beyond the horizon was directed by commanders aboard Enterprise, funneling sensor, communication, and intelligence support assets into a coordinated fleet combat network spanning surface vessels, aircraft, and submarines across vast ocean battle spaces. But what technologies enabled such seamless cross-force operations? The answer lies in pioneering early data links and satellite communication systems developed concurrently with jet aviation through the 1960s. These allowed rapid transmission of radar contacts, target assignments, threat warnings, and other tactical data between platforms strewn over hundreds of miles. Shipboard combat information centers like those on Enterprise could thus route bombers to strike inland targets, identified moments prior by Hawkeye early warning aircraft patrolling at altitude. While defensive fighters operating far afield were vectored to intercept threats spotted by cruisers over the horizon, this composite operational picture stitched together the fleet into an integrated sensor web greater than the sum of its parts, enabling exhaustive mission rehearsal informed by near real-time intelligence updates from various air, surface, and underwater units. Through these innovations in unified command and control, the efficacy of aircraft, missiles, and guns was multiplied exponentially by information dominance in the battlespace, and the Enterprise continued to expand its capabilities over succeeding decades by embedding revolutionary new air wing platforms and weapon systems. The development of the long-range, Mach 2 capable F-14 Tomcat air superiority fighter armed with the advanced Phoenix missile gave the carrier group beyond visual range area air defensibility comparable to land-based SAM defenses. This provided manned interception well beyond the radar horizon, denying adversaries the space needed to coordinate complex air raids on the fleet. Likewise, deployments of dedicated fixed-wing maritime patrol assets like the specialized S-3 Viking reflected adaptations, increasing standoff anti-submarine capacity against a growing undersea threat as adversary, submarine noise, reduction in sensor technology matured in later conflicts. But the crowning upgrade for the Enterprise fighter wings came in the 1980s with the game-changing FA-18 Hornet strike fighter, perhaps the most versatile naval aviation platform ever conceived. Though more compact than earlier jets, the Hornet employed advanced pulse Doppler radar, longer-range precision-guided munitions, high maneuverability and reliability improvements that increased the accuracy, flexibility, and sortie generation rate of the carrier exponentially. Agile electronic warfare capabilities allowed the resilient Hornet to penetrate contested zones and engage targets that would overwhelm older aircraft. These formidable capabilities were pushed to unprecedented levels by robust networking improvements that connected every Hornet into an integrated information grid, amplifying situational awareness through modern data links. This granted each pilot a fire control-grade composite track picture regardless of sense of visibility, enabling unrivaled coordination between Navy strike, electronic warfare, and maritime patrol assets. Such integration marked the maturity of naval aviation into a networked force multiplier competitive with the concentrated air defense and strike capacities of many sovereign states. Yet it's not just the dozens of aircraft that defined the efficacy of the Enterprise's air wing. A vast array of satellite communication, data link processing, and command facilities directed every capability of the ship towards mission goals set by Fleet Command. Near real-time intelligence updates from airborne early warning radar aircraft like the distinctive E-2 Hawkeye were passed back to the Enterprise, allowing long-range coordination between units and exhaustive mission rehearsal. These information advantages rendered the Enterprise's aircraft capacious sensors and weapons exponentially more effective through any weather. And while the offensive striking power of naval aviation captures headlines, the full picture of the Enterprise's air wing includes supporting elements that multiply its flexibility. Tankers expanded the reach of combat aircraft patrols, command and electronic warfare planes penetrated into contested areas to enable strikes. Cargo integration sustained long-term operations, and airborne anti-submarine capabilities guarded against threats to the Enterprise. Together, these assets formed the core of an advanced fighting force, extending the lethal potential of naval air power to tip the scales of conflicts worldwide. Yet this was further bolstered by the Enterprise's own formidable array of missile, radar, and rapid-fire gun defenses, with layers of redundancy to protect its vital flight deck. Decades of progressive upgrades to weapons like the Navy's enhanced Sea Sparrow-provided capabilities tested against changing missile and jet threats in successive conflicts. The Enterprise's defenses set the standard for layered naval area denial, improving survivability. Combined with the mobility from its nuclear power, these factors solidified the supercarrier's ability to sustain lethal air wings safely even when bordered by hostile nations. Through the potent combination of its integrated air wing, information networks, defensive systems, command facilities, and evolutionary technology insertions, the USS Enterprise maintained unmatched tactical firepower, promising air dominance from the sea. This game-changing capability cemented aircraft carriers as the centerpieces of naval warfare, strategy for generations to come. The Enterprise's demonstrated flexibility, survivability, and sheer striking capacity has paved the way for successive American supercarriers to continue exerting unrivaled strength across the oceans. It carved a legacy of naval superiority that shall persist as long as Nimitz-class carriers cut through the waves. And that's just a glimpse into the immense firepower and integrated technology that allowed the USS Enterprise to dominate naval warfare unmatched for over 50 years. From pioneering data links, networking sensors, and aircraft to adaptive air wings flying sustained strike tempos. Matching land-based air forces, the Enterprise paved the way for today's modern supercarriers, projecting global power. Be sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more declassified insights into iconic military technology. And let me know in the comments what other advanced platforms or weapon systems you want me to cover in future episodes. Until then, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more glimpses into the cutting-edge machines that fight the battles unseen.